its statutory meeting before the 1st of September. Okay, it secured its minimum subscription and it was allowed to start its business on 1st April. So meaning uh, May, June, July, August. So which one is earlier? Either September or August. So in this case, the company is bound to hold its meeting before the expiry of 4 months period, which is going to end on 31st of August. Okay, this was about the time of statutory meeting. And notice, 31 days notice has to be sent to every single shareholders about the statutory meeting. 21 days notice. Not only this 21 days notice, just suppose that if the notice is for 14 days, this is controversial of Section 132, and there are unpleasant consequences for the officer of the government. So a notice must be sent 21 days before the statutory meeting. Very important meeting. The very first gathering between the shareholders and the company. That's why you see the management of the company, that is to say, the first directors, will need to be very careful to follow, to abide by Section 131. Section 131 says that you see shareholders must be sent a notice 21 days before the date of the meeting, and not only that, but a copy of the statutory report must or shall also be sent along with the notice. What is statutory report? We are going to discuss it in detail. So this is the requirement. Okay. Coming to the requirements. What are the requirements of statutory report? Number one is, I mean, what should be the agenda? A list of members has to be prepared by the director, and the list of members has to be presented to the statutory meeting that we have these much of shareholders, they are our members, these are their names, these are their occupations, these are their addresses. The complete information about names, addresses, you see, professions, etc., about all the members, so for you see, be remembered by the company by selling the shares. Okay. Then is participation. All the members attending the statutory meeting, they have a right to take part in the discussion. They can participate in because they are members. And don't forget that I have already told you that one share carries one vote. The gentleman is who holds 100 shares, it means that he has got 100 votes. And in case of any debate, you see, he would be asked to, he would have the right to use his vote, but I don't see any student whose camera is turned on. Why? How can I make it sure that everybody is listening to me, everybody is attending my lesson? Unless I see you people in your cameras. So please turn on your cameras, and I would advise your CR to please, CR, please mark all those students whose cameras are not turned on. Mr. CR, are you there? GR. Hello, Mr. GR and CR. Please mark those students whose cameras are not turned on. Mark them absent. Okay, so here you see, every member, since he is a member, although a shareholder is not the owner. You see, in comparison to a corporate partnership form of business, you see, in a partnership form of business, the partners are the owners. But here the position is different, totally different. Here the shareholders are shareholders; they are not the owners of the business. Theoretically, practically they might be owners. Practically they are owners. But theoretically, the only owner of the company business is the company itself, and all the contracts are made in the name of the company. All the assets are bought and sold in the name of the company. shareholders, although they are not the owners, but they are shareholders. And the business is practically run with their consultation. So they take part in this. So they have the right to take part in the discussion. They are called in the meetings, whether it's statutory meeting or it's an extraordinary meeting or it's an annual general meeting. You see, the purpose of calling shareholders to come down and attend the meeting is to afford them an opportunity to have their say in the company's business. And you know it very well that the decisions are made in the company form of business organization democratically. If there is a difference of opinion about a decision, few people are saying that the matter should be decided in this way, and another group says no in this way. Then a poll is conducted, and you see that the one who holds a majority is who gets sustains. You see, so this is the occasion. Then comes adjournment. What does adjournment mean? When in a court a case is going on and the case is not, you know, it's very well that the case cannot be decided in a day or in a week or in a month. Some cases, particularly civil cases, takes months, years. So judge after hearing, he gives the next date and tells the parties to come on the next date. This process is in a court called adjournment. Here too, you see, here too in the meetings of a company when the business is not completed in one meeting and meeting is you see postponed to the next day. This is called adjournment. The meeting can be adjourned, you see, and business can be decided. Important decisions are to be made, you see, in the original meeting as well as in the adjourned meeting. You see, postponed. Uh, so far as the provisions of section 131 are concerned, they do not apply to one public company. You see, this section 131 is applied to public company. A public company shall hold a statutory meeting and to prepare a statutory report. But one public company is exempted from it. And the company which was originally a private company, if you look into the last part of section 131, it tells you that the company which was originally a private limited company, but later on it converted itself into a public limited company. And but after being a private limited company for one whole year, only that company is exempted from holding a statutory meeting, from preparing a statutory report. If a company has been converted from a private into a public after, say, 11 months, that is not accepted. That is not exempted from the application. That in that case, the company would hold the statutory meeting as well as would submit its statutory report. Okay. Coming to the requirement of statutory, a notice, as I have already told you, that notice must be given of 21 days. A notice and information, you see, is to be sent to the shareholders that there is going to be a statutory meeting of the company, you see, 21 days before the day, and along with a copy of statutory report. What are the consequences of contravention? You see, if statutory report is not sent, or if the notice is not sent for 21 days, just 14 days, any sort of contravention of section 131, you see, the person who is liable for that, who is involved in contravention of that section, is going to come across penalty. So section 131 says any contravention or default in complying with the requirement of this section shall be an offense liable in the case of a listed company, level 2 penalty, and in the case of a non-listed company, level 1. You know that listed company is that company who is registered or whose securities, whose shares are listed with the stock exchange, which is allowed to offer for sale its shares at the stock exchange, that is listed company. So for listed company, level 2 penalty. What is level 2 penalty? You can look into the details. I have already told you that level 1 is smaller than level 2. If level 1 penalty is 50,000, might be level 2 is 200,000-300,000 rupees. So this is consequences of default. Then coming to statutory report. The only business or the most important business conducted, you see, by the statutory meeting is to consider and to approve the statutory report. Now, what is the statutory report? You see, you have already been told that a copy of statutory report has to be sent 21 days before the statutory meeting to all the members, not only to all the members, but to the registrar of companies as well as the Security and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. A copy has to be submitted to them. This statutory report is the first report about the affairs of the company. Statutory, because this is the very first meeting between the company and the shareholders, its members. That's why the parties do not know each other. Company does not know who the members are, what are their names, where are they coming from, what are their professions. Members, they do not know what is the plan of the company, what's the business of the company, so far as what steps have been taken towards the start of the business. So this statutory meeting is an occasion when statutory report is submitted, and statutory report contains all the essential information about the company. You see, in the statutory report, there are 9 contents. We are going to talk about them. Nine type of details are to be provided in the statutory report that has to be submitted in the statutory meeting, and that has to be brought to the members. And if the majority of the member supports it, you see, there can be members who are not agreed with all the contents of this statutory report. They can propose, you see, alteration in that. And if there is a difference of opinion, then a vote can be conducted, and the group which secures majority, that suggestion or that alteration will be accepted. Okay. So the very first thing which has to be mentioned in a statutory report is the details of shares allotted. You know it very well that the public company raises its capital from the public by offering, you see, the public its shares. So the statutory report says this is the very first meeting. I mean, company has just started its business. The company has just started selling its shares to the public. So the item number 1 at the statutory report must be the details about the shares. How many shares have been allotted? Okay. Number 2 details are the details of cash received. What has been done with the money received? Just suppose that the company which has got 1 billion rupees as its share capital, it has secured half of its. It has started its business after securing its minimum subscription. Just suppose half of $500,000 rupees. So up till now, the shareholders are to be told by the company that where this $500,000 rupees have been spent. Details, cash received on allotment. You see, obviously this $500,000 rupees have been received, have been secured by selling the shares. So where the money has been deposited, what has been done with the money up till now, what steps have been taken. Number 3, I'll do it hurriedly so that I complete my today's lesson. Number 3 are